51, we're going to go ahead and install our two rear bulkheads and one of our rear braces. Just to take a note, this is the brace we're using. This is the brace we are not using. We are using the thicker or the taller one of the two. So don't get those confused. Okie dokie, we're going to put the chassis plate with the nubs that are on here, the pin nuts actually going up, so it's flat on the bottom and the nuts are on the top. And we're going to start off with this bulkhead here, and if you'll take a note, there's a front and a back. We're going to take the part that has the bevels on it for our screws, and that is going to go towards the back of the chassis plate. We're going to mount it into these two holes right here. Actually, you can see that they'll line up just perfectly. So we're going to take two of the longer screws, go ahead and align them up, put those in. And again, we want the bevels facing towards the rear. Now we're going to take the second of the chassis braces, and we are going to put this on, and again there's a front and a back. You can see the two little nubs here that are coming out. Those are going to go towards the front. So this way, towards the big U shape. And that is going to go into, there's also a little peg on here that goes into this center hole. So that aligns up just like so. And again, we're going to use the two of our longer screws. Put those in and tighten them up. Going to go a little stronger on this. Okay, we got one more step to go in number 51, and that's to put our rear brace on. If you'll notice again, there's a front and a back, there's bevels. Those bevels are going to go towards the rear. We're going to drop this down so that it clips in here. You know, if I would have remembered correctly, we should put that on before we tighten the rear bulkhead down. Let's go ahead and loosen the rear bulkhead up just a little bit, because that actually clips inside there. There you go. You can see now that that kind of falls right down in there. Now we can tighten it back up. Then we're going to go ahead and insert our two shorter screws into the back. And that's how it's going to look. Now we're going to go ahead and get our pieces out for step number 52. Step number 52 is going to consist of putting the rear A-arms on. Pretty straightforward. Let's go ahead and start off by putting a C-clip on the end of one of the hinge pins, if we can grab it. There we go. So pesky little puppies. And again, we want the rounded side towards the inside. If you look at the C-clip, if you watched our first part, you'll see that there's a inside and an outside for a C-clip. These are always little pesky little buggers. Put that on, make sure it rotates. And we're going to put, optionally, you don't have to do this, but we are going to put a Team FastEddy hinge pin shim on there so that has something to rotate on so it doesn't throw the clip. We're going to take the second brace, and it doesn't matter which way it goes on, and that's going to slide in front of the bulkhead. There's that little notch that goes down over the chassis. There's a little notch in there to hold it in place. It just sets in there. We're going to grab one of the A-arms, and the A-arms are going to go on. Again, this is the back. This U shape is the front right here, so this is the back. And we're going to put it on with the shock mount area towards the rear. That's going to slide right in between. And we are going to need to slide these in from the back towards the front. The C-clip will not clear the chassis area if we do it the other way around. So we're going to go ahead and slide that through. Make sure it all lines up. And goes in. Just like so. Now you can still see with one shim here we still have a lot of play. So we're going to go ahead and put another, optionally, put a shim on there, and then the second C-clip. These can be a little bit difficult to get in this area because we are limited somewhat in the space that we have to work with. But they do go on, supposedly. There we go. Have to slide it in there. You can see that we're going to leave a little amount there. There's going to be a little play in there. We can shim it out one more if we want to with a thinner shim, but we're not going to. We're going to leave it the way it is. And we're going to go ahead and install our second C-clip onto the back here. And I'll let you laugh at me while I do it. These things always are fun to install. Come on, puppy. It wants to go on, but it's not going. There we go. Make sure it's properly on. And now we've put on one. That's how it looks. Okay, I'm going to turn the camera off and go ahead and put the second side on. And once we've done that, we're going to go ahead and lay out our pieces for step number 53 and get rolling on step number 53. Step number 53. Lots of interesting stuff going on here. We're going to build the rear hubs. The first thing that we're going to do is press in our bearings, very similar to how we did it on our front. If you're using the stock bearings, do that. If you're using the Team FastEddy bearings, go ahead and get out 4 of the wheel bearings. We're going to use the bearing press. Ooh, maybe not. Boy, that slid right in there with no problem. The rear one, not sliding in quite so much, so we're going to use the bearing press. Going to put that little sucker on there. Run those bearings in. We're going to go ahead and build one on camera and let you build the second one off camera because it's done the same way. No sense in wasting time. Okay, so we've got the bearings in. Now we're going to take the front hub or I'm sorry, the front cup. And we're going to hold the hub like so, with it pointing backwards, because this is the front of the hub, and the part with the big deep well in there is the rear. Okay, so we're going to hold like this, and we're going to slip it in the rear axle hub here, in through the back, until it's fully seated. You're going to hear it clip on there, and it should move freely. If it's binding, you're going to want to check and make sure that your bearings are in properly. Like that one wasn't. Okay, so there we go. Now, we are going to take our piece here. You're going to see that there is a hole in here. You're going to see that there's a hole in the stub. We're going to go ahead and put those on so that they align. And we're going to drop the pin through there. At this point, what we're going to do is we're going to check for any play, just like we did in the fronts. This one actually has very little, so we're not going to need to shim this one. HPI did a great job when they redesigned these rear hubs for the SC. And there used to be quite a bit of play, but there isn't anymore. Okay, so now that that's done, we're going to take this small screw and we're going to put some Loctite on it. And you can be generous with it. And we're going to drop this down into the center. You can see the pin. Yeah, focus. You can see the pin in there through the screw hole. Basically, we're going to put that screw down in there and lock that pin. So we're going to want to hold our fingers on here to make sure it's centered. And then go ahead and drop that down in. Tighten it down till it touches. Then we're going to grab our hub wrench, just like we did on the front. Drop it down on top. Go ahead and torque that screw down. Make sure it's on good. Give it a nice healthy torque. Just like so. Go ahead and check it again. Make sure it's not binding. And that's our rear hub. Go ahead and repeat that process. Get that done. And then we're going to get out our pieces for step number 54.